Hello, everybody. So, hello. It is, let's see, what day is it? It's Wednesday, May 21st, 2025. And I am coming to you from the beautiful state of Michigan, where it is 54 degrees and raining. I'm just going to move this light here a bit. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. Gina Sampson says hi. Hi, Gina. Thanks for joining me. If you guys want to put in the chat, say hello, say where you're tuned in from. And in today's live feed, I'm going to make my Cucumber Wakame Salad for you. So I'm going to walk you through that, and then you'll be able to make it yourself. So when I was planning what I was going to do, I was thinking I would make a cool, refreshing salad for the wonderful holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend coming up, because I figured it was going to be nice and warm. Well, that's not the case. I don't know. Here in Michigan, it's probably only going to be 60 degrees. But this is still a wonderful salad for you, and you can still make it for the holiday weekend. And then you can use this recipe for whatever time you want, using one of my favorite vegetables, cucumbers, right? That's one of my favorite. Yeah, so for anybody who's new to my channel, I am Chef Valerie Wilson, and my business name is MacroVal. Website, macroval.com. I have been teaching healthy, organic, vegan cooking classes for 28 years based in macrobiotic principles. And I am the author of 7 cookbooks. And I also offer lifestyle counseling where I can work with you to overcome dis-ease in your body using food, because I love food. And food is medicine. So I like to teach a lot about the health benefits of the food also. All right, so if you're just tuning in, go ahead and say hi, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Just say hi and let me know where you're tuned in from. It's always nice to hear from people. And guess what? You can ask me questions. You can ask me any questions, even if they have nothing to do with the recipe that I'm doing. I can always answer the questions, okay? So this recipe that I'm going to show you how to make features the sea vegetable wakame. And my latest cookbook is Sensational Sublime Sea Vegetables, which is all recipes using sea vegetables. But this recipe is not in the new cookbook. In fact, I have been making this recipe for so many years. I thought it was in at least one of my cookbooks, and it's not. So you're getting an exclusive recipe I haven't put in a cookbook yet, but it is a recipe I've been making for a long, long time. All right, so who here has had wakame before? You can just leave a comment or whatever. It's a sea vegetable, right? So it's a plant that grows in the ocean. That's what sea vegetables are. Now, some people call them seaweeds, but I call them sea vegetables. Sea vegetables just has a better ring to it than seaweed, right? But it's interesting, though, too, if you think about it, we call very nutrient-dense food weeds that should not be called weeds. Maybe we should call them vegetables, such as dandelions. Dandelions are not weeds. They're nutrient dense. They're full of so many vitamins and minerals, and they've been known to have anti-cancer properties too. Gina Sampson says me. So she has had wakame before. How about that? So the sea vegetable is wakame. You know, it might be kind of hard to pronounce the words. I know when I was first getting started cooking healthy, and again, my background is in macrobiotic cooking, where they were, these books that I was reading were talking about sea vegetables with all these names, and I didn't know how to pronounce them until I went to a macrobiotic cooking class. And then I decided to become assistant and work at the cooking school, which is where I learned the basics of macrobiotic cooking and everything like that. And one of the things I wanted to learn was, how do you pronounce these sea vegetables? And so it's pronounced wakame. All right. And it's spelled Wakame. Wakame. Now, everybody always asks me, where can I get the ingredient, right? So health food stores are your best bet to find sea vegetables. Of course, now with the internet and everything, people can order sea vegetables through many different companies. And some people say that they go to Oriental stores to buy sea vegetables. Now, I've never bought my sea vegetables from Oriental stores. Not that that's not a good source, but I don't have any frame of reference for that. Now, a lot of people ask about this. It's Mituku, Mituku. Mituku is a company that's imported from Japan. Okay, so I get really the best quality food that I can. Costs a little more money, but I'm a chef and I'm kind of picky and I want my food to be absolutely delicious. So I get the best quality ingredients there is. And I get my Wakame by Mituku sea vegetables from a company called Natural Import Company. And if you want to just type that in the search bar, Natural Import Company, you can pull it up and you probably can find sea vegetables there. Of course, I get no endorsement whatsoever for advertising the company. This is just a company that I've been ordering, sea vegetables and other foods for like 28 years. This is just one of the companies I use. Okay, so sea vegetables, plants that grow in the ocean. So they're like big leaves. They pick them and they harvest them and they dry them. And when they dry them, what happens is the leaves go like this and they curl up. Okay. So what is a big, huge, like sea vegetable leaf, when it's dried, it goes like this and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and it curls up. So one of the things that happens when people start cooking with sea vegetables is they don't realize that the sea vegetable expands. So we're going to soak the wakame and I'm going to show you, but it literally, it more than doubles in size. I don't know, like what time, like 10 times the size or something. So always remember when you're working with sea vegetables and you want to put them in a recipe, less is more. Always go with less, okay? Because you don't want to overpower the dish. You don't want the dish to be very, very full of sea vegetables because then the taste would be very predominant and not everybody's going to like that, okay? So you want to remember that. Now, sea vegetables are naturally bitter to the taste, but they're also salty because they come from the ocean. And anything that's bitter feeds and nurtures your brain and your heart. So sea vegetables are for your brain and your heart. Anything that is naturally salty feeds and nurtures your kidneys, your adrenal glands, and your reproductive organs. So sea vegetables are great for your brain, for your heart, kidneys, adrenal glands. Hold on a minute. Yeah, it's a little chilly here in Michigan. Like I said, it's only like in the 50 degrees. So, yeah, I've got, my nose was running a little bit because of the dampness too. All right, so back to sea vegetables. Let me get my bowl here. So you're going to want to get a bowl to soak the sea vegetables because they're going to expand. Now, also too, when I picked this recipe and I was going to teach it, most of the time I just make this recipe off the top of my head and I just visually look at like how much cucumbers do I have and how much wakame do I have. We're going to start with 1 tablespoon of wakame flakes. Can you see that? 1 tablespoon of wakame flakes. I don't know if I might drop something. Sorry about that. It's hard to show in the camera what it looks like, but here. See, it's kind of like squiggly looking because again, it got dried and it went like this, right? So I want you to look and see what it looks like in the bowl. That's 1 tablespoon. All right. We're going to take some water and we're going to soak the wakame and you're going to see just in a couple minutes how much that's going to expand. Huge amount. Okay. How long do you need to soak it? Not very long. You'll see in probably about 5 minutes. It'll start to unfold. You soak it until it's soft enough that you can cut it up. Okay, basically is what you want to do. All right. Yes, so I'm showing how to make a cucumber wakame salad, a wonderful, refreshing salad featuring cucumbers. And so if you've just tuned in, go ahead and say hi in the chat and let me know where you're tuned in from. I am in the beautiful state of Michigan. And Michigan, although they're not available yet right now, but here in Michigan, we grow cucumbers. I've tried to grow cucumbers in my garden. I think last year I got 1 cucumber and I was super excited. But other places like the farmers market, they always have fresh cucumbers when they're available. And I always make sure to get them because when it comes to cucumbers, you must get organic cucumbers or grow them yourself. Because if you're not getting organic cucumbers, they put wax on the outside of the cucumber so that the cucumber lasts longer in the store. And you don't want to eat that wax because that wax could coat your intestinal tract and then you can't properly digest food. Now, I'm not talking about the toxic coating called appeal that I have been talking about for almost 2 years now. That's a different coating, okay? And that one is even worse. And I just recently, last month, wrote another blog about appeal. I'm just talking about general wax that they put on like apples and cucumbers. And they've been doing that for years if your produce is not organic. So when it comes to cucumbers, always, always, always has to be organic cucumbers, right? Always has to be. So I've got a couple cucumbers here. I think we're only going to use the big one, but I wanted to have some nice cucumbers. This is where the organic label was on the cucumber, so I cut it out. Now, this is just a texture thing for me, but I like taking the peel off of it. You don't have to do that because you've got an organic cucumber, so you can leave it on. But sometimes, too, what I do is I'll take some of the peel off, but leave some of it on. And then you can make the cucumber look like decorative. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about so you know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take a swipe, a swipe, a swipe, a swipe, a swipe. Yeah. So you see how we have green, dark green, and then light green? That's what I'm talking about. Make it look decorative. Because you eat with your eyes first. So you want the cucumber to look pretty. Do you see what I did? And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, the lines are not perfect. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect or whatever. So we're going to cut the ends off, obviously, because you can't eat those. Now I'm going to use a slicing blade in my food processor. So all of my pieces are equally cut. But you don't have to. If you don't have a food processor, if you don't have a slicer blade, you can cut it with a knife. Or if you have a mandolin, you know, one of those hand motion things that will slice it, you can slice it with that too. I don't know if will this cucumber fit in here? Oh, it will. Well, that works very well. All right, so here's my food processor. All right, we're going to slice the cucumber. So when I turn the food processor on, you won't hear any noise, but I'm hearing noise, okay? All right. Now look at this. It's only been a few minutes and that wakame has expanded and it's all over the bowl in there. I'm going to let it go just for another minute so it's nice and soft when we want to cut it. Now, get yourself a nice big bowl, okay, that's like deep. You don't want like a bowl that's thin and round because I want the cucumbers to be like spread out. Here, I'll show you. All right, so we'll put the cucumbers in there like so. Yeah, so you see how the cucumbers, like, you can spread them out like in the bottom of the bowl. That's what you want. All right, let's set the cucumbers aside just for a moment. And now we can work with the wakame. All right. So anytime that I'm doing the recipe, if you have any questions, you can also put those in the comments and I can answer your questions. And say hi if you're tuned in. Let me know that you're watching. Say hi and let me know where you're watching from. Okay, so remember that 1 tablespoon of wakame that we put in the bowl? Look how much it's expanded. Yeah, a lot. So here's what I do. I just take my hand and I just pull the wakame out, okay? And I put it on the cutting board. Now, I was always taught in my macrobiotic cooking school that you don't use the water when you soak wakame. I do, when I use kombu, I usually use the soaking water, but here's the reason why. Because, again, this is a big leaf that was growing in the ocean, and they harvest it, and then they let it dry, and it goes like this, and it curls up. And sometimes little sea creatures or pieces of sand could get stuck in the leaf as it folds up. So then when you soak it and it unfolds, that debris could be in the water. Now, I've been eating wakame and cooking with wakame for over 28 years. I think only twice have I seen anything in the water that looked kind of funky, but I still use the same, technique that I was taught, that you do discard the water because there could be, little sand debris in there and nobody wants to eat that, right? So we're going to go ahead and just get rid of that water. Now, here's our beautiful wakame, and I can pick up a piece of it. You can kind of see, it's like a leaf. See how that is? Very, very interesting. This little piece is like this here. Now, if let's say you were eating a salad and you had your fork and your fork picked up a big piece of sea vegetable like this hanging off your fork, would that be appetizing? I don't think so. So I always tell my students that you want to chop the wakame up into very small pieces. So that way it's you're eating it and you don't know you're eating it. You're getting all the health benefits, but you don't even know you're eating it. So you can take your good old trusty vegetable knife and you can chop it up, or you can use a pair of scissors. Watch this. These are my kitchen scissors, right? Everybody has a pair of kitchen scissors, right? That you just use for food, and you're always cleaning, so they're nice and clean. But anyways, you can just chop it up like so. All right. Now, sea vegetables, again, they come from the ocean, so they're going to kind of smell a little bit like the ocean. Not strong, just a little bit. But I do have some students who have said that it's a kind of a strong taste. So you know what you do then? You cut back in the recipe and you use less of it. All right. Now, some people like the taste of it. They adore the taste of it. Or if you put the other seasonings with it, the other seasonings complement it, and you don't even really know that you're getting, the seaweed is sea vegetable. Sorry, I said weed, didn't I? It's just complementary. All right. So now I've chopped up the sea vegetable into very, very small pieces. And I'm going to take this bowl that I soaked it in, and I'm going to put it back into this bowl here, because we're actually going to season the cucumbers and season the wakame in 2 separate bowls. And then at the end, we mix them together. So we're going to put the sea vegetable into the bowl right here. As I mentioned before, all sea vegetables are bitter to the taste, but they also are slightly salty because they were grown in the ocean. So here I can take a piece. Now, maybe because I've been eating sea vegetables for so long and everything, I like it. I like the taste of it. Now, I must say it tastes a little bit better when you put some seasoning with it and you actually put it in a dish. than just eating it like right now, just plain wakame. But it's still good. I just had a piece of it. All right, here, let me clean up what's going on here. You always have to have a clean surface when you're cooking. See, we're actually doing cooking when you tune in and you're doing a video with me. All right. Another ingredient I put into the salad is onion. This is optional. If you don't like onion, you don't have to put it in there, but onions are pungent. I adore onions, and the onions are going to be raw. Now, some people, not so much. So it's optional, but I love them. Now, I soak the onion in cold water. Does anybody know why I did that? You can put it in the comments if you have any idea why I soak the onion in cold water. I like audience participation. You know, in my cooking classes, my students always say, you know, I'm always like, I'm sharing the health benefits of all the food and the cooking techniques and everything, but I always ask my students questions. I'm like, I want audience participation, right? So I'm going to use, I don't think we want a whole half an onion. I think that would be too much. I'm thinking I'm going to use 1/4 of an onion. Again, we use 1 cucumber. That's how much cucumber we have, all right? So I'm going to use 1/4 of an onion, all right? So if I was using 2 cucumbers, I would use the half an onion, but I'm just going to use 1/4 of an onion. Phew. Oh, excuse me. Now I sneezed. Oh, hold on a minute. I'm going to use the slicer blade in the food processor. And we're going to slice it thin. Are you guys with me still? Following along? Now I'm going to put the onions in the bowl with the cucumbers. Here we go. We got onions sliced thin. Okay. Now I'm going to use 2 seasonings here. These are 2 of my favorite seasonings, especially for spring and summertime for salads. These are 2 of my favorite. We have brown rice vinegar, naturally fermented vinegar made from brown rice. So this one is sweet, but it's also pungent, sour, because anytime you ferment something, you also create sour and a little bit of pungent. This one is ume vinegar, and so this one is salty. So this one is salty, sour, and pungent. So we have sweet, brown rice vinegar, salty, ume vinegar. So sweet and salty love each other, and they come together and they create a beautiful combination. Very, very flavorful. All right. All right, I got it. All right, so I'm going to put the ume vinegar on the cucumbers, and I'm going to put the brown rice vinegar on the wakame. So I'm going to put 1 tablespoon of brown rice vinegar on the wakame, and 1 tablespoon of ume vinegar on the cucumbers. I might increase it to 2. It depends on how many cucumbers and onions. All right, so it's 1.5. I'm going to do 1.5 on each. Now I'm going to take the best kitchen tools there are, your hands. And they're nice and clean. And I'm just going to mix the cucumbers and the onions and the ume vinegar together. So I'm just getting all that vinegar, all that delicious vinegar in with the cucumbers. Okay. So I put the brown rice vinegar on the wakame because of the natural sweet flavor. And so the sweet flavor of the brown rice vinegar will help tame down the bitterness of the wakame. So that's why I soak the wakame in the brown rice vinegar. And then I soak the cucumbers in the ume vinegar because of the natural salty taste. Because cucumbers, actually, if you eat cucumbers, they have a slight sweet taste to them. So anyways, so now that we have the cucumbers and the wakame sitting in their vinegar, now you can let them sit in the vinegar for like, I would say 15 minutes would be a good amount of time. You can let them sit for like an hour, you know, anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour. And then you mix the two together and then you can eat them. And then you store it in the refrigerator and you take it out and you eat it whenever you want. And because we put the vinegars with the cucumbers and the wakame, this is a salad that will last, I would say probably 7 to 10 days in your refrigerator, maybe even longer. But yeah, because the vinegars are a natural preservative, so the salad's not going to go bad. And the salty ume vinegar also will draw out some of the natural juices of the cucumber. And there's the wakame right there. Okay. We're just going to let this stuff sit for a minute while I share some other things with you. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you could do me a favor and hit that like button, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, because when you hit the like button, you help with the algorithms. And if you don't know, social media is run by algorithms. So any type of interaction that somebody watching you does, it really helps other people see the video. And that's why I highly encourage other people also to leave a comment. You could say hi, you could ask a question. I love to see, like, if you put where you're tuned in from. Like, I'm in the beautiful state of Michigan where it's like 54 degrees and it's raining, right? And here it is Memorial Day weekend, where usually it's the beginning of summer, right? Hi, Max. Thank you for tuning in and saying hi. Greatly appreciate it. Yeah, and if also remember to hit that like button. Livonia. Yeah, so Max is in Livonia. Thank you, Max. Max is my boyfriend, by the way. Anybody who knows me knows that. All right, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. So we're waiting for the cucumber and the wakame to marinate in their vinegars. And so I want to tell you about an upcoming cooking class that I have coming up, and it's on June 12th. Thursday, June 12th. This is a virtual cooking class. So it doesn't matter if you live in Michigan or you live really far away, you can attend this cooking class because it's virtual through Zoom. And I'm going to teach you how to make whole grain salads that are a complete meal. I've got 2 recipes for you, and the class is from 6 to 7:30. I'm in Florida, Gina says, and it's 91 degrees. So it's hot down in Florida. Boy, that's a big difference between Florida and Michigan, huh? Yeah. Thank you, Gina. Yeah, so the class, I'm going to teach you how to make these 2 recipes. One of them features brown rice, sweet potato, and fresh basil, and asparagus. I'm crazy for asparagus. So I'm getting fresh organic asparagus here in Michigan right now. So these are new recipes I just created. So this has asparagus too. And this one also has asparagus. This one features the whole grain quinoa with tofu, the asparagus, and this one has a dressing that has Dijon mustard in it. So each one of these salads is like a complete meal upon itself. So you're going to get both recipes. You're going to get step-by-step instructions. You're going to get all the health benefits of the ingredients as I cook them. All right. And when you attend a cooking class, you can do more than just leave a comment. You and I can talk because it's virtually through Zoom. So that's what I have coming up on Thursday, June 12th. I have to keep looking to refresh my memory. And if you're interested, you can go to my website, macroval.com. I'm going to share the screen. Here it is right here. This is my website, macroval.com. Here's my new cookbook, Sensational Sublime Sea Vegetables. And the cooking classes, upcoming classes right here. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on YouTube. Maybe you're watching the video on YouTube. And cookbook page. This has all my other cookbooks, my lifestyle counseling page, personal chef services, my private cooking channel on Patreon, and my Substack blog. But for right now, let's go to cooking classes. And this is where you sign up for the classes. Here's the virtual class right here, whole grain salads as a meal cooking class. So that's coming up. All right, I'm going to stop screen sharing. All right, so yeah, I made cucumber wakame salad. I demonstrated how to make it. We're letting it marinate right now, and we're going to mix it together here in just a moment. But I also wanted to share with you the story of the ostriches in British Columbia, Canada. Have you heard about these ostriches? It's now made national news, which I'm very happy about that. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I've been talking about this since January. Thank you, Max. Max put the website to my, he put the email or the address to my website right there so people can click on it. Yes, and it's also in the description of the video. All these links that I'm talking about, they're in the description of the video. So the 400 ostriches are in British Columbia, Canada, and they are under threat of all being killed by the Canadian government, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, all because back in December, 2 dead ostriches tested positive for bird flu using a PCR test. And we all know how unreliable PCR tests are. And they tested dead ostriches. Now that's been back in December. So we have January, February, March, April, May, 5 months. 5 months, these beautiful ostriches are alive and well and healthy, and they're still threatening to kill these 400 ostriches. And last week on Tuesday, the verdict came down that yes, they will kill the ostriches after they tried in court to fight this. So since then, a lot of people in Canada have been going to this farm, and a lot of people on social media are going live and talking to them. And also news networks are coming out there and interviewing them. They're getting national attention now, finally, because this is just absurd that they want to kill these ostriches. Hello, Amy. Amy said, hi, Val. I just made an account. Awesome. So Amy's new to YouTube. So everybody say hi to Amy. And Amy's in Michigan. And she's a dear friend of mine. So thank you, Amy, for tuning in and finally getting here. Now, unfortunately, you did miss the recipe with the cucumber wakame. I made it earlier, but we haven't mixed it together yet. We just made it. And you can always go back and watch the beginning of the video earlier where I started doing the recipe. But for right now, I'm telling everybody about these beautiful 400 ostriches. And I'm going to share their website right now. And a link to their website is in the description of this video. And this is Save Our Ostriches. On May 13th, 2025, the court ruled in favor of the CFIA, upholding their order to destroy our beloved ostriches and reject our plea to save them. Here's what you can do to support the farmers. Now, if you have money, they need money. If you don't have money, I'm just asking people to say a prayer for the farmers, the Karen and Katie who own this farm, who live on this farm, who have raised these ostriches since they were babies. Some of these ostriches are like 25, 30 years old. Okay. So, I mean, if you just keep them in your prayer, and you know what else you need to do? You need to tell everybody you know about these ostriches. That's what I've been doing. I've been sharing it on social media. I've been talking about it, and I've been telling everybody about these ostriches because the word gets out. More and more people will see how crazy this is. Look, here's Anna, here's Bonnie, here's Lulu. These are some of the beautiful ostriches out here. There's Erica. These are healthy ostriches. There's nothing wrong with them, and they want to kill them. Now, if you want more information, there are all these videos that you can watch where the owners of the farm have been interviewed, and they've been talking about it. And it's saveourostriches.com. You need to go there. You can sign up for their newsletter. I've been talking about this since January when I found out about it. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm going to stop screen sharing. They also have a Facebook page. So you can go to Save Our Ostriches on Facebook, where they do live videos. Like I said, it's all over the place now, which I'm so grateful for because it's absolutely crazy. Now, today at the ostrich farm, they did a live video, and the Canadian police showed up, not to kill the birds. These are not the people that, are enforcing it. They are the people that are, the Canadian police are just there to make sure that it's peaceful, that nothing happens, right? Because there are a lot of people that have driven out to the farm and they're camping there. They're staying there now. And the owners of the ostriches, Katie, or is it Karen? I'm sorry, I think it's Karen. Their mother and daughter. When they found out that the ostriches, the verdict came down last Tuesday, she is now staying inside of the fence with the ostriches. Her and Dave, I'm not really sure, Dave is not her husband, but her husband is actually in a wheelchair, which is another sad story. But they're inside of the fence of the ostriches right now. They're sleeping in their trucks, and they have a 24/7 watch on these ostriches, and they're not going to leave inside of the cage until they can get an appeal going or they can save these ostriches. They are with the ostriches 24/7 to save these ostriches. It's like, they've been raising these ostriches for 20 years or so. Not only are they pets, they're part of their family. And so I just want everybody to follow the ostriches and spread the word if at all possible. Okay. All right. So back to food. So the sea vegetable wakame, which I talked about earlier, this is what it looks like. It's dried and it comes in a package like this. You're going to have to find it at a health food store, right? Or you can order it online. And so sea vegetables are actual plants that grow in the ocean. They are the most nutrient-dense food on the planet. They are high in minerals, high in trace minerals, very high in vitamin C, high in protein, high in iron. They're really high in iron. They contain iodine. Natural occurring iodine from the ocean is in sea vegetables. Sea vegetables have the action when you eat them in your body to cleanse the body of toxins, whether it's environmental toxins, it's toxins from your food, or it could be heavy metals from prescription drugs, or again, you can get heavy metals from environmental toxins, but that's what sea vegetables do. They have the natural ability to cleanse the body, because what they do in the ocean is sea vegetables actually cleanse the water in the ocean. That's what they do. So when you eat them and they go inside your body, they cleanse the body. All right. So in my new cookbook, Sensational Sublime Sea Vegetables, oh, you can't see it because of the vinegars. And the new cookbook is for sale on the website. I talk more about each one of these sea vegetables. I have recipes featuring wakame and nori and agar flakes, but wakame in particular can help get rid of phlegm and can help treat coughs. It also has been known to help soften hardened masses in your bodies, such as tumors. That's what wakame can do. All sea vegetables can do that, but they help soften it so your body can get rid of it on its own. Has 10 times more calcium than milk. Has anti-tumor properties. I already said that. Antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and anti-diabetic properties. So it also helps to stabilize your blood sugar. And as I said earlier in the video, has a natural bitter flavor, which feeds and nurtures your brain and your heart. Sea vegetables are great for your brain and your heart. So Amy says, I've been watching. I had to make an account to chat. Oh, yeah, when you sign up with YouTube, you have to create an account. Why is everything backwards behind you? Oh, that's so interesting, Amy. I didn't think it was backwards. Anybody else who's watching the video, is the word macroval.com, is it backwards or forwards? I didn't think it was backwards. So thank you for pointing that out to me. Somebody else let me know if the wording is backwards. I thought it was forwards. I don't know. And nobody else has brought that to my attention when they watch my live feed. So thank you, Amy, for that comment. Hopefully, and I don't know. So thank you for that. Backwards. Max says backwards too. Really? Nobody else has told me that. I don't know how to fix it, especially when I'm live right now. I'm going to have to look at the settings like later on when I'm not live, because I don't know what to click on at this moment. So I will have to check that and see why the words are backwards. But I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, see, I'm looking at a screen with like all this stuff. I'm not sure what to hit right now to fix that. Yeah, thank you. So also too, coming up, because it's summertime, right? I am going to start my outdoor grilling cooking classes. So for the last, I believe it's going on 7 years, I have been teaching cooking classes in the summertime outside on my back patio, and I'm grilling the food. Now, these grilling cooking classes are some of my regular students' favorite classes because the food is so absolutely delicious. Okay, so it's coming up on June 25th, my grilling cooking class. Now, if you live here in Michigan, you can attend in person here at my house, where we actually cook all the food together and we get to eat the food. But I also have the cooking class hooked up to Zoom, and I record it, or you can join me live. So even if you're in another state, you can still attend the cooking class, right? Because I have a lot of tips about grilling, because a lot of people think, if you're vegan, whole foods, or vegetarian, or you want to eat healthy, how are you going to grill, right? Well, for 7 years now, I've been creating recipes that will tell you exactly how I do that. Let me show you what I'm going to teach you on June 25th. So it's a roll-up. It's a roll-up with Mexican-inspired flavors in it, okay? So in the roll-up is grilled asparagus with a Mexican flair. There's also grilled sweet potatoes, where I have a new way of cooking the sweet potatoes, grilled onions, and all of that's grilled with Mexican flavor. And it's served with a tofu sour cream. I'm going to show you how to make tofu sour cream, and a cucumber basil salsa. Now, the salsa is not grilled on the barbecue, right? But it's an excellent complement to put on the Mexican roll-up. So we're going to make all that, and we're also going to make a dessert. It is a zucchini apple fritter. It's kind of hard to see in the picture what it looks like, but it's a round little fritter that we're going to cook on the grill. And then I have a raspberry sauce to go over the top of it. So it's all Mexican. This class is from 6 to 9 o'clock, and we're cooking. And so, again, you can attend in person if you live here in Michigan. If you want to attend virtually, I send you the recipes ahead of time, and you can get the recipes and you can cook along. Now, if you don't have a barbecue, that's okay. All of these recipes could also be made in your house using like a saute pan or something like that. So grilling outside is delicious and it's fun. And I love teaching the grilling classes, but I want you to know if you don't have a grill, the recipes are still absolutely delicious for you. All right. So I have one more thing to share with you. I always give everybody an update when they go live with me about what's going on with the Porcupine Mountains here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And so for the last 2 years, we've been dealing with the fact that they want to build a mine right next to the Porcupine Mountains. The Porcupine Mountains is a beautiful state park here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. In fact, in 2023, it was voted the most beautiful state park in the whole United States. It's a vast wilderness, and it's a vast wilderness of untamed forest, and so there's like nothing up there except for the park, except for hiking trails, Lake Superior, and beautiful scenery. Amy says, what do you coat your zucchini with? So Amy, I'm not coating the zucchini. It's a fritter that has zucchini in it. So a fritter is actually like dough, and so the dough has apple and zucchini in it and some other ingredients. So then we make it's like a pancake batter, only thicker, and then put it on the grill, and I grill it on the grill and we cook it. So I'm not actually coating the zucchini. The zucchini is inside of the fritter. But that's a great question. Thank you for asking. Yeah. So the fritter is kind of like a thick pancake is what it is. And there's a Mexican word for fritters that begins with a B, and it's kind of hard to pronounce. So I just say fritter. But yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so protect the Porkies. What can you do? Well, there's a petition to sign saying that you don't think that it's a good idea to have a mine right next to Lake Superior and the beautiful Porcupine Mountains. Even if you don't live in Michigan, you can sign this petition because people come from all over the world to go to the Porcupine Mountains here in Michigan. Yes, we have a state park here that people come from all over the world to see. Okay. I went to the Porcupine Mountains where they're planning on putting this mine site last year in August. And I saw the devastation that they've already done. Even though the mine has not been approved yet, they still went in there and they clear cut the forest with the intention that they're making plans to create this mine up there. It just doesn't make any sense at all. So this is Protect the Porkies. You can subscribe to their email right here. The top 10 reasons to protect the Porkies. This is the Porcupine Mountain State Park picture. Here's where the proposed mine site is, and here's Lake Superior. It's just not a good idea. Here are some beautiful pictures. And I've been to the Porcupine Mountains quite a few times. It's right next to the North County hiking trail, which is, look how long this North County hiking trail goes all through the Upper Peninsula, all through the Lower Peninsula, all throughout. This is a super long hiking trail, and the mine site would be right next to it. There is no electricity in this remote area. They would have to bring in the infrastructure to this remote area. It's just, they would ruin the Porcupine Mountains, actually, is the whole point. Stop screen sharing. And so the latest news with the Porcupine Mountains is this. They want to give a $50 million grant to Copperwood, which is the mining company. Now, 3 times last year, 3 times. People like myself and other people who are opposed to the Copperwood mine, and Tom, who is the person who created Protect the Porkies, we all sent emails to our senators and we stood up and we said, we don't want you to give $50 million grant, which is our taxpayer money, to this mine site to destroy the Porcupine Mountains. Well, guess what? They've reintroduced the proposal for the $50 million grant to be given to Copperwood. Okay. But now they've changed the wording of the proposal so that you don't even know that the $50 million would go to Copperwood. It's hidden in there. So this is the email that Tom sends out to you when you sign up for the email list on Protect the Porkies. Keeps you updated on that. Keeps you updating what's going on. These are, and so he recommends sending emails to these people, and he gives you information how to do that. And it's not hard or anything. There's a form letter that you can sign, and you can just send it out. But it's just a way of, standing up for it. If you're not comfortable with sending emails, you know what else you could do? You could tell everybody that you know that this is happening. Because since I've been talking about this for 2 years, everybody who I tell about this proposed mine site up right next to the Porcupine Mountains, they all say, I didn't know anything about it. I've never heard anything about it. And these are people that live in Michigan. They don't know anything about it. So just spread the word. That's what you got to do. You got to spread the word. All right, let's go back to our recipe. So we have the cucumbers and onions that have been marinating in the ume vinegar. And we have the wakame sea vegetable that's been marinated in the brown rice vinegar. And now we're going to mix the two together. Okay, we're going to mix the two together. Here we go. So again, this is a cucumber wakame salad. It's an excellent salad for spring or summer. And it has ume vinegar, which is a salty, pungent vinegar. And it has brown rice vinegar, which is a sweet, pungent vinegar. Okay. So it's a sweet, salty, sour, pungent. And then we have the sea vegetable, which is bitter. We have all 5 flavors in this salad. Okay. So it'll satisfy all 5 of your flavors. You'll get lots of vitamin C, antioxidants, cleanse toxins out of your system, feed and nurture your brain and your heart, all wonderful things that we want to accomplish, right? And it's pretty easy. It's cucumbers, wakame, onion. And again, where are you going to find these 2 different vinegars, right? So this is Eden. Eden is a Michigan-based company. They make organic, healthy food. You're probably going to look for these vinegars at a health food store is where you're going to find them. But the 2 of them complement each other. One's sweet and one's salty. They taste really good together. Here is our beautiful salad, cucumber wakame salad. There it is right there. Let's take a piece and taste it. Ooh, that's good. Oh, it's really good. Very pungent and sour with the vinegars. It's like reawakening my taste buds. Yeah, that sour flavor like wakes up your taste buds. Oh, it's really good. Really good. And then you want to store it in the fridge. And again, it'll probably last like 10 days in the fridge for you. That's what you want to do. All right. So, calls to action. Make sure you go to my website, macroval.com. And here's the cooking classes. The grilling class you can sign up for. The virtual class, whole grain salads as a meal cooking class. You can sign up for that. And also I have a recipe of the month. Cream of asparagus and mushroom soup. In fact, I just made this yesterday because asparagus is in season right now. And if you missed it, the last video I did 2 weeks ago, I made cream of asparagus and mushroom soup live on YouTube and Facebook. So you can look at that video also. Stop screen sharing. Yeah, so thank you so much for everybody who tuned in and watched. I greatly appreciate it. And if you get the opportunity, make sure you hit the like button or the thumbs up button. And so you want so if you're on YouTube, it's a thumbs up. If you're on Facebook, it's a like button. But that increases the algorithm, so more people get to see the video. So Amy says the site, not backwards. So when I do screen sharing, it's not backwards. It's just backwards right here when I'm on camera. Got it. So when I used to go live, God, that was like 5 years ago. I used to go live using my cell phone. And when I use my cell phone, the video would be backwards and the words would be backwards. But since I've been going on Restream, I'm in a studio that's called Restream on the video and everything. I didn't think the words were backwards. Handmade. Just bought a couple cucumbers and ate one whole and fresh. Yes, absolutely. Eating cucumbers fresh. I love cucumbers. One of my favorites. Handmade says, I am late. Just saw you were on. Oh, that's okay. The video will be up and you can watch the video on YouTube at any time. You know, at the beginning of the video, I walked you through how to make the recipe with cucumbers and wakame and onions. Can't hardly wait to try these vinegars, Amy says. Awesome. Yeah. Get the vinegars. The two of them work well together. And I use these vinegars often in a lot of my recipes because they're complementary and they just are wonderful, especially for spring and summer. We're still in spring and we're moving into summer, but very refreshing flavors and they taste really good together. And I want to show you, I'm just so excited about my upcoming grilling class on June 25th. I'm telling you, this roll up is so absolutely delicious. Grilled asparagus, grilled sweet potato, and grilled onion, all with a Mexican flair, which means, you know what that means. It means there's lots of garlic there. All grilled and then served on the roll up with a tofu sour cream and cucumber basil salsa. Now, the salsa is not grilled, but it's absolutely delicious. And for dessert, I'm making apple zucchini fritters, which is like a thick pancake batter. And we're actually cooking the fritters on the grill. And I'm serving that with a raspberry sauce. So that's the cooking class on June 25th. Outdoor grilling class. Really good. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, also remember to hit the button that says subscribe. You want to subscribe to my channel on YouTube because I really appreciate that also. All right. Thank you so much for all your comments. Really appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Remember, get in the kitchen and cook healthy.